So I'm going to be honest. I quit YouTube 2 or 3 times during this process. Hello there. Welcome back, or welcome if you're new. My name is Daphne. Thank you so much for joining me today. I hope that you feel welcome in my home if this is your first time by. It is January 1st, and as promised, I am going to be sharing part 1 of my primary bathroom makeover. And I have been gone for a couple of weeks. We did the 12 days of Christmas and then we took a break. And one of the reasons why I took that break is because I needed time to be able to learn how to woodwork, how to do demolition, and what I was going to be doing in this bathroom. Now, if you guys have been here for a while, you know that I've done 2 bathroom makeovers. The first one was my half bath, where we just did a moody splash of warmth. And everyone that goes into that bathroom absolutely loves the space. And then during Vlogmas, we shared the process of making over the hall bath, which is Alex's bathroom. And we did a bunch of projects in there, but none of them were outside of my skill set. It was painting, decorating, and then just trying to work the space to make sure that, it was updated, fresh, and inviting. But I knew for my primary bathroom that I really had to push the envelope, and I needed to make updates to this space, updates that I've never done before. One of them being getting rid of the original molding that is in the bathroom. So I'm going to show you exactly the state of the molding as it was before we started this project. At this point, we thought that all of this built up on the side molding, which actually are newer pieces that was added on when the tile came down. We thought that that was just the buildup of the plaster. But once I started demoing, I saw what the contractor did, and I'll show you later. So on this side, there was additional molding added, but the molding does not touch the back of the wall. And I didn't get a good image of that, but it was freely floating from the wall about a little under a ½ an inch at this point. So I knew the first thing that I needed to do once we decided that we were going to do this project was rip down the molding from the window. Now, as you can see from the image that I shared of how the original molding looked, the wear and tear on it, when we first purchased this home back in 2011, that bathroom had tile on the walls, and it has plaster and tiled walls. And so the house is from 1936. So the walls were very thick. So the way that they built up the walls, the actual window frames needed to be built up to match that. But when you remove all of that tile and plaster and still keep the original molding, there literally was a gap of over a half an inch from the end of the trim to the wall. So I knew once I ripped out the original molding that we were going to have to figure out a way to integrate the new molding that we were going to have and have it snug up against the wall. So that was the main thing that was on my mind. And every time I had a conversation with Marino, and when we were thinking about, what types of molding we were going to put up, we knew that we didn't want to do any miter like joins. We wanted to do something very clean. And we both agreed that we would try to do craftsman molding. I had no idea that craftsman molding had so many options. So we went to a wood, well, actually, I thought that it was all like a molding store because a window contractor told us that we'd be able to like have them make replica molding if we wanted to keep the original molding, or if we wanted to, do something that was unique, they would be able to design and make it for us. So I thought that it was just a molding place, but when we arrived there, we saw that it was more of like a hardware store where contractors went and they purchased their doors, their moldings, their windows, everything. So I'm going to show you, they had literally 4 humongous, almost floor to ceiling options of different types of molding. And it was a little overwhelming and everything was very ornate. So I knew that I did not want to have anything ornate. I wanted to have something a little more, craftsman, clean lines. So we didn't go with any of those options. So we took a trip to Home Depot to just see what type of craftsman molding that they had. So I went alone on the trip to Home Depot. We waited a couple of days. I just took a trip out and I said, let me just go and see what they had. So I already knew, based on the research that I had did and some inspiration images that I saw on Pinterest, that I was going to do a 1x4 for the stool, the apron, and then the side trim. And then I was going to do a 1x6 for the top. And I was also going to do a 1x2 flat trim to build up the craftsman style that I was looking for. So once I had that and I did my measurements and I knew how much of each of them I needed, I took a trip to Home Depot and I was able to purchase everything that I needed. But still, we hadn't taken down the molding yet to see how much of a filler we needed to add on between the wall itself and where the molding would lie. So that was the next thing that we did. So I came back home and I started demo. So we're about to take down this molding. This is my first time doing anything like this. Just got back from Home Depot. I picked up this 3-piece bar kit and we got a box cutter. I just got some additional blades and I have my gloves. And we're just going to score along the side. And we're going to use one of these 3 bars to just try to lift it off. And we'll see what the framing is all about. Here, the side.
The side, and the inside, because you got to separate. First of all, you need to take that out because we don't want. Can I stop this?
Huh?
No.
What?
In the wrong direction. No.
I thought this was the right.
Look at the arrows on the. Got that, so like that, if you need multiple.
So what should this be flat? Which way? This end or like that? Like this?
It's however you can wedge yourself in there.
Well, this is pretty much like. At this point, I decided to switch over to the right hand side because if you remember from the images that I showed you guys originally, this side is not attached flushly with the actual plaster wall. So it had a little under a ½ inch gap, so I was able to get the pry bar underneath it and get good leverage to be able to pull this side of the molding off. Yeah, see, that's the board right there. It looks like it was added. It's an additional board.
Say that again?
It's an additional board. This.
What the hell? Hold on, be careful. There's a nail. Is that a nail?
Yeah. Shot up into the thing.
You want to get rid of that first?
And once we got that first piece of molding off, then we started to see the frame working of the inner portion of the window, how it was attached, and how much of a gap it was going to be from the framing to the wall. So once we started, we could not turn back, so we just powered on, taking down each section at a time.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly. Baby, you give me midnight.
So I could not believe how many nails were attaching this molding and how long the nails were. So I took my time and I was able to pry, the molding off. But I'm going to show you in a second how long these nails were.
Don't wanna overthink it, baby. It's just me, your body.
You gotta just rip that thing. It's coming from the, it was nailed from top down.
On an angle. It's to this.
So you can't push it up away? Or are you too short?
It's stuck in so deep. Look at it.
Oh, I see how.
But I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak my mind. Oh.
So I had to stop for a second to figure out why on the left hand side, when I was trying to get my chisel behind the molding, why it started crumbling. So if you see on the left hand side all of that buildup, well, what the contractor did was they basically piped in some type of plaster and then tried to smooth it out on the outside of the molding instead of just properly building up the molding so that it would be flush. So again, this is what I'm saying about how when you do things yourself, you will be doing it the proper way as opposed to hiding things.
You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh.
So now that the demo was completed, we saw that the left and the right hand side, one of them was a 1/4 of an inch and the other one was a 1/2 an inch. So even from side to side, the amount that the frame was sticking out from the drywall was not even. So we took another trip to Home Depot, and we bought a 1/4 of an inch by, I think it was 1.5. And then we bought a 1/2 an inch by 1.5. And we brought it back here and we cut little pieces and we did a dry fit. And it actually worked out really well. and I was really surprised that it fit perfectly. I thought we were going to have a lot of shimming and a lot of, trial and error, but it worked perfectly. And I was so happy that we were able to solve that problem, because we had the same issue when we renovated our kitchen, and professionals couldn't figure out what to do in that space. And I was intimidated because I thought that if a professional couldn't figure it out, which eventually we suggested a certain thing and then they were able to achieve it. But that is one of the reasons that pushed me to be able to learn how to do this myself, is because just because you hire a professional doesn't mean that the results is going to be what you want. A lot of times people call themselves professionals, and honestly, you as a DIYer can do as good or better because you're putting love and you're putting attention. It's just not another job for you. So you're going to go the extra mile to learn, if you don't already have that skill, to learn the skill and try to have the appearance be as close to perfect as it can be based on your skill set. And that is exactly what my goal was with learning how to do this project. So I just wanted to let you guys see how the opening looked after we pulled down the molding. We still had to remove the plaster on the left hand side and also on the top. So we did that off camera, and now I'm just cleaning up for the night so that we can use the bathroom. Before we finish for the night, we're just going to do some window and door spray foam around the opening, and we're going to let it dry overnight, and then we're going to finish off the cutting, measuring, and all of the molding on tomorrow.
You whip up my appetite. Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, I don't wanna jinx it, baby.
So this is the opening all cleaned out, and then we're going to put the spray foam in. We overfilled it so that we'll be able to cut it down flush with the drywall in the morning.
Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're giving me wind and rain. You're some kind of butterfly.
So this is the start of day 2, and 4 trips later from Home Depot and 1 trip later from Lowe's. So we think that we have everything that we need to complete the molding. So my husband is just setting up the miter saw outside, and then we're going to get to cutting and hopefully completing this project today. Wish me luck. So I'm going to be honest, I quit YouTube 2 or 3 times during this process. And it was a fight against myself, really. And I feel like I didn't record as much because I was doing, this project. The majority of it I did on my own, but in some cases, my husband and I were brainstorming. He was in the room, and he doesn't like to be on camera. So I had that conflict. But to my surprise, as I was cutting, as I was learning on the miter saw and also doing the brad nailer, he was recording me without me even knowing it. So that's how I was able to get that footage, because honestly, at that point, I had quit YouTube. So I'm thankful that he didn't give up on me and took footage, of those important parts of the process so that I can share it with you guys. And I am so excited with everything that I've learned so far. I'm not a professional, but I feel like now I'm not intimidated to use the drill the miter saw or the brad nailer. He might have to assist me to, like, put the nails in and show me, like, certain things, but all the cuts I did myself, all the measurements I did myself. All the design work I usually do myself in general, but I really wanted to learn the cutting, the nailing, the screwing, that part of it, which usually I have my husband Marino do. So I just wanted to just be able to, while he always helps me, I wanted to be able to say, I did this myself. And I am so happy that I actually pushed myself to do it. And I was able to share it with you guys today. So I hope that you enjoyed this process. If you did, make sure that you give this video a thumbs up and share it with someone that might like my content. This is only part one of this journey. This is going to be a huge process for me. We plan on doing next is ripping out the molding around the door and the closet, and they go together in an angle, so that's going to be a little more challenging for me to just figure out all of the angles and the millwork that is needed. So I'm going to make sure that I give myself enough time to be able to do that and figure it out. Now, the process itself with the Craftsman trim is going to be pretty much the same layout. But because of that angle, I think they call it a dissolving corner, if I'm not mistaken. That's going to be a little different. So that'll require a different type of millwork and I'm sure some intricate cutting, but I am game for it. And I hope that you are as well and that you've enjoyed today. So it's really hard to be able to film in this small space, but I wanted to give you close-up images on both sides. So the first side was the 1/4 inch fill that we had to add. And then on this side is the 1/2 inch fill. So nothing has been caulked at this point. So we're gonna go in and we're gonna caulk everything, sand it down, and all of the gaps will just disappear. And after we sand everything, we're going to paint it, but we're not going to do it at this point because we are still working in the space and I don't want to get it messed up after we finish it. So again, this is the left hand side, and then this is with the 1/4 inch gap that we filled. Everything is nice and flush. The only thing that has to be done is just the filling and finishing work. So this is how it looks all finished. And next week we're going to move over to the door and figure out that whole situation. So I just want to thank you for joining me today. I hope that you enjoyed it. As I said, if you haven't already subscribed, make sure that you subscribe, share with a friend, and join me back here for next time where we tackle the trim on the closet and the doorway. So until the next time, have a blessed day.
Don't leave me here high and dry. Oh, but I don't wanna jinx it, baby. Let's not get ahead of my time. Oh, but I don't wanna miss you, baby. So I stand up and speak my mind. Oh. Baby, you give me ice and fire. You're chilling when the rain. You're some kind of bird.